When I paint, I think of it as a healing process, especially after my husband's passing. I'm 73 years old. We were together for 30 years, and he was the love of my life. Since my husband passed away, I wasn't taking good enough care of myself. When I had my mammogram, they saw a spot. I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It turned out that it was a more aggressive cancer than we all had thought. I asked to have a second opinion, and I found Dr. Hyman Muss.
Well, I've always been interested in breast cancer, and in the middle of my career, a great chief of medicine asked me to do a project with one of our residents on older people and cancer. And the next thing I knew, I was hooked. Cancer is a disease of aging, and the average age of a cancer patient in this country is now 67.
I get chemotherapy once every 3 weeks, and it's going to last for a year. There's 17 rounds altogether.
You are really putting your faith into that doctor's evaluation of how much chemo, how much radiation to give you minimal side effects. All of that comes from research.
And the problem is a lot of our research is focused on younger people in this country. So our field of geriatric oncology is to fill these gaps in knowledge. What happens to older women who get chemotherapy, and how does it affect their daily life?
The Kay Yow Cancer Fund was born in the sport of women's basketball, really to unite a nation of coaches, but also players and communities across the country to do something for the greater good. Coach Yow was a very famous women's basketball coach and actually had a 22-year battle with cancer. And it was her wish to find a cure, but also really important to create new drugs and medications through research and clinical trials that would give women a better quality of life, no matter what age they were.
We have drugs that are effective for breast cancer, but sometimes they can be toxic. Particularly in patients who are older, the toxicity can be as bad as the disease. We believe that understanding the physiologic molecular age of someone prior to treatment will be helpful. If this patient is molecularly old, is she more likely to have serious side effects from the chemotherapy? And if this patient is molecularly young, is she more likely to be spared those side effects, even though their chronologic age is the same?
Chemotherapy can accelerate the rise of that marker, which means that your cells in your body can't divide as quickly. It's like the mysteries. How do we get old? Why does our hair change color? It's because as we get older, our cells are not able to keep up with the demands. We lose reserve. So we're trying to see what the changes are with different types of chemotherapy, and if things like walking can prevent the rise in it. We've learned that people who exercise and don't smoke tend to not age as quickly, and it's reflected by this marker, so we're trying to look at this in breast cancer. We applied to the Kay Yow Cancer Fund to study older women with breast cancer who are getting chemotherapy. These are older women who are potentially curable.
The grant process begins with researchers applying for a grant, and then it is reviewed by a scientific advisory committee. We look for research that is on the cutting edge, that has the most opportunity to be very impactful. We've given a number of million-dollar grants with the monies raised. The grant to Lineberger is very appropriate because Coach Yow was an athlete. It's great that we were able to give a grant that is connected to exercise and the effects of exercise on cancer.
We're very focused on research to improve the lives of people with cancer. How are you?
Good.
We approach that patient if they're going to get chemotherapy, and we ask them if they're interested in the study.
While I'm doing the chemo, I will be part of Dr. Muss's study. He gave me lots of information, and I just wanted to do it. And they tested me in a lot of different ways.
Alrighty, so now we're gonna have you do our chair stands. What we need you to do is stand up and sit back down 5 times as quickly but as safely as possible without using your hands. 4.
I am the exercise physiologist of the project.
5.
We are very interested in looking at lean mass and see how effective our intervention is in alleviating the loss of lean mass. At the beginning of the study, the patients undergo a battery of assessments, including the assessment of body composition, which is performed using the DEXA technology. And after they finish their intervention, we'll do another scan to see how effective the intervention was in alleviating the loss of lean mass or even maintaining the loss of lean mass, which is already a tremendous result.
We ask them lots of questions. We periodically measure their lab along the way to see how are these molecular markers of aging doing. The reason we picked walking as the intervention in the Kay Yow grant is it's scalable. Unless you're truly disabled and can't walk, it's something everybody can do.
I walk anywhere I can, really. I think it gives me more mobility, and I think it will continue to keep me healthy while I'm going through the chemo.
We're asking people to walk 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. We also put a Fitbit on you. We'll be comparing our patients with an identical group of patients who aren't walking. We can capture all these data in the computer. It's incredible. So what we're learning with the Yow grant is whether we can do simple exercise like walking and keep women in shape, keep their lean body mass high, make them tolerate their chemotherapy better, and have less functional loss than they may have had if they weren't doing any exercise or didn't have any good coaching from our team.
And so that's the intent of this study, is to help those women who are going to be cured of their breast cancer live with the side effects from the chemotherapy for the rest of their life.
We are extremely grateful to have received this award from the Kay Yow Cancer Fund. Without science, without funding, without the dollars necessary for us to continue to conduct those experiments, to find a cure or to provide the patients with the best care, to give them the best chances to succeed, becomes nearly impossible.
The reason the Kay Yow Cancer Fund is so important is it funds a really wide spectrum, wide variety of research related to women's cancers. Not just breast cancer, but ovarian cancer, cervical cancer. These are major issues worldwide. We appreciate all of those who have donated to the fund and hope you'll continue to do so.
I feel so fortunate to have the opportunity as an older woman to be part of something that was never really available before. My husband would be very proud of me. In Yiddish, we call that doing a mitzvah, doing good deeds. I'm doing the good deed for myself, and in turn, it's doing good for other people in the future.
Coach Yow believed in this cause. She had a great passion for it. She would be grateful for all that has been accomplished to date, but she would say, we can do more. We will do more. Join the Kay Yow Cancer Fund in the fight against all women's cancers and donate today.